You. Yeah, you. Do you know what today is? You don't? Well, I'm going to tell you what today is. Today is when we learn about epicness. Today is when we talk about
This Week in Anime!
Welcome again this week in anime. Today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Kamisama No Inai Nichiyoubi, also meaning Sunday Without God. Totally pumped about today, like we learned so much stuff, but before we get into anything else, like always I'm Program.
I'm Protoguy.
And since I didn't really go over it last week, I want to discuss more of the background of the anime and some of the, like the producer and stuff like that. So let's get into it. This was based on a light novel back in 2010, and from there it became a manga. And they're, at the moment, I think right now they're on issue 17. And Madhouse was the company who actually started making the anime. And from there, I mean, that's when the manga started actually, you know, going back into it and starting to make more issues. So the director is actually named Yuji Kamizawa. If I'm saying the names wrong, I apologize, hence the reason why I'm having the names on the video. The series composition is by Tomoko Kamparu. The original creator is Kamihito Airi. And character design is Shinichi Miami. And the main characters, the voice actors, Aki Toasaki is who did I, and Daisuke Namakawa is who did Humphrey. So that's pretty much the basis of everything, you know, on how the anime came about. I've been reading the manga a little bit, you know, to where we are. So far I have different opinions. I might start going into that more, you know, as we get farther into the anime. If you have any comments about anime versus manga, go ahead and put them in the description. But other than that, let's get into it. Let's start with characters. Last week, in the first episode, we mostly saw I and Humphrey. Those are the two main characters, it seems like. But today, two new character introductions. So first, at the beginning of the episode, we see I, Humphrey, and Scar. So let's talk about Scar a little bit more.
Well, Scar is another gravekeeper. To me, she's really nice, but scary at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of just has a carefree attitude to her, but she's kind of like, you know, this. I don't really care about nobody. My name's Scar, and also Killer, and
Death God.
Yeah, Death God.
She had a bunch of names for herself. And there was something else I noticed that I didn't know when I watched the first episode, that gravekeepers are different. They have no emotion.
Yeah.
No emotion. You know, they can act kind, but they don't feel nothing. That was pretty interesting. They talk about that.
Well, I mean, if you think about the job that they have, I mean, I don't think you would have emotion anyway.
Sure, I mean, you wouldn't give a damn about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
But I mean, just she's one of those people that seem kind of cool to hang out with, but you don't want to mess with her.
Yeah. To me, like you'll see her and she'll be like, yeah, she looks like a pretty nice person. To me, I think later on you're gonna see that she's pretty scary.
Yeah, slightly. I'm waiting to see her in action.
Right.
Like, I think she's gonna start whooping some ass.
Right.
But and also the other character I'm really excited about, Yuli. Also named the Hunter. It seems like he was a good friend of
Humphrey.
Of Humphrey before, you know, the 15 years ago, which we'll get into. It was 15 years. But anyway, yeah, he's.
They didn't really. He only showed up towards the end of the episode, and they exchanged some words. But really, we don't know much about his backstory except for the little that they talk about in the episode.
Which is his wife was dead, and Humphrey, who was his best friend for who knows how long, but he ended up killing his wife because the way that Humphrey put it was just funny. He's like, I know you were happy, but I'm not okay with that happiness.
I do know one thing. He knows how to get under Yuli's skin.
Oh, he really does, yeah. Like, he just completely demoralized him, just like he did I. I think that's just a common thing for him now. But yeah, it just seemed like Yuli has a motive. Like, he wanted revenge. His wife was killed and he wanted to kill Humphrey. which is kind of funny because Humphrey.
I'm hoping in the later the next episodes they'll go more in detail about him. Like I said, they didn't go all out with explaining everything.
Yeah,
so we
you
don't really know
much.
too much about him.
Yeah, but from what I know, he seems like just the way the character's carrying himself, he seems pretty. Like
and he's a damn good shot.
Yeah, and he's a rival for Humphrey, so
Right.
I'm gonna like to see how that progresses.
He's also a dick, by the way.
Oh yeah,
you'll see why.
It seems like everybody's a dick. So,
I think in that world, you're just gonna be a dick.
But and that will besides I. And now let's go into the new developments with I and Humphrey.
Well, I want to talk about Humphrey because watching that dude made me smile.
Before we go into that, I want to have a question.
Okay.
Humphrey, do you think he's a douche?
Yes.
Or do you think he's trying to protect I? And he's just hardened by the society that he lives in?
You can be protective and a douche at the same time.
But I mean, okay, think about it. He actually was giving off the impression that he was trying to show her mercy. And later on in the episode, he gives her a piggyback ride because she falls and hurts her leg and different things. He's showing compassion towards her in a way. In his own way.
Putting a pistol to a 12-year-old's head. That's the douchey.
Yeah, the two scenes. First one, him bitch slapping her essentially. And also, guns ahead. I have to admit, those are pretty...
She's only 12. I don't give a damn what kind of world you live in. Yeah. She's a child.
And also the way he interacted with Yuli too. He was just like, that's not a good enough reason for you to want to kill me. And don't you already know you can't kill me? I'm immortal.
That was interesting to find out. The guy can't die.
Which we'll go into a little bit more in a second. But yeah, it just seems like no matter like the way he lives now and the way his character is after the 15-year hump of they God-forsaken, of abandoned the world. He seems to be completely hardened. He just doesn't. He has no love for dead people, at all.
Yeah.
He hates them, and from that, I think that's why the way of I. It seems like he wanted to protect her. That's why he put the gun to her head and saying, "Hey, I don't want you to deal with this. All you're gonna have to deal with is mercy, corruption, hatred, violence. That's all you have looking forward to. I might as well kill you now." And he was going to.
He really was.
Yeah, he was honestly gonna kill her. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
But this episode, she had some lines, she did some talking.
Yeah.
Character development wise, I feel like she was the weakest.
She was, I mean...
In this episode, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you learn more about... Like, Humphrey's just a very mysterious character.
This was his episode.
Yeah, like, there's one part where he's trying to kill someone, trying to kill her, just demoralizing Yuli, his best friend, and then there's a point where he's being, like, a father figure to I. Like, it's just, I don't... He's a very unique character, and it's just I'm confused with him. I don't know where he came from, what his power is. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but yeah, I don't know with him. But I mean, she showed like I don't know, like a determination, if you will. Like her whole life just was crushed before her, and now she knows without a shadow of a doubt she's a gravekeeper.
Oh, she's got guts. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, like she just looked him in the face, in the eye, and just said, "Look, I'm going to be a gravekeeper. I don't care what you say." So I do have to give her credit.
Yeah.
Because Humphrey's kind of a scary guy. So I mean, it seemed like she's determined.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah. So I mean, that seems like everything that happened with character development. So let's go more into story plot line, and what we learned about as of this episode. Okay, so the first thing I want to discuss about the plot developments is pretty much what happened 15 years ago, because the whole premise of the first episode was God abandoned the world, the heaven and hell was overfilled, and there was Earth was being overfilled too. So he said he failed, and because of that, no one could die. But Humphrey has his own opinion, because he did say that everyone made up that assumption after the fact, because right when people die, there's really no changes automatically. So maybe the first person who realized that people can't die was maybe couple weeks after the fact. So no one really knows exactly what happened. So Humphrey's idea is kind of interesting. He just said that this God is like an asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, like he's an asshole, and also he maybe that he feels that God was giving us a gift in a way, because all humans wanted to be immortal. We always wanted to keep living, and God was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna give that to you. I'm gonna let you guys continue living. And once we started realizing, hey, I don't want to keep living. This kind of sucks. The longer we live after we die, we start going insane. So I think I might want to die, and that's why God gave gravekeepers. So I mean, it's kind of a unique interpretation on it, but that kind of opens up the idea that no one knows.
Right.
So who knows why this happened? So I mean, do you have any ideas, even if it's way out, like why you feel this is happening?
Only 2 episodes in. I really want to keep going before I give it my theory.
Okay.
Can't really go on much just for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unique. I mean, if anyone has some way out, theories, like I said, I'm following the manga as it's coming out with the anime, so it might have already been discussed. So if someone does know, don't spoil it for everyone. But if you don't and you just want to give out your opinions, go ahead and put a comment. I'd love to hear it. And also other things that happened. I know you wanted to discuss.
Well, there was another plot twist. You also find out in this episode, and he explains it. You find out that he's immortal, and he explains it. Apparently, he had a rare pigment
called albinism, I think it was.
Yeah, rare pigment disorder, which he couldn't be out in the sun long. But when he was able to go out into the sun, he wanted to last forever.
Yeah,
you're immortal.
And I think the way he was saying that was the same time when the whole thing happened.
Yeah.
And
so God made him
in general, like I don't understand. Because he says that he killed Yuli's wife, but yet he couldn't kill everyone in the village. He had to have one of the gravekeepers kill them, and he unlike everyone else, he regenerates. Mm-hmm. So I honestly don't know if that's something God did to him, or if it's, I don't understand him. Like, I really don't. He's a very...
They'll probably explain more as the series
I'm
goes.
Thinking so, yeah. I would be kind of disappointed if it's just, that's how he is.
That would be pissful.
Yeah, that would kind of upset me. But, I mean, that's pretty much essentially what happened. There was a lot of information. We're kind of getting a more, defined scope on the universe.
There is one thing I wanted to talk about that I just remembered.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, they said all this stuff happened 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And 15 years ago, people who died came back to life, pretty much.
Well, they didn't really come back to life. They just never stopped living. They're still alive.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But people also couldn't reproduce anymore.
Yeah,
Which brings up the question. This happened 15 years ago. I is 12.
Oh, yeah, that is true. He did make a comment about that. He was saying that the gravekeeper, her mom actually gave birth to her, and which makes her a defective gravekeeper. So she's half human, half gravekeeper. So that is interesting. So I wonder what's going to...
Hopefully they'll go on more as the series goes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But honestly, your opinion so far, 2 episodes in, does it still seem...
It's getting better and better every episode.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'd recommend it to anybody who's looking for a good anime.
So, like always, continue watching. Any comments or whatever you have, go ahead and post them, and we will bring them up next week. And also, we might not be posting right away like I wanted to on Mondays, just for the fact that I want to produce the best episodes possible. And we're also going to do the Attack on Titan review since you guys demanded it. So that's kind of what's going on. And until then, I will see you next week.